The Beauty Kunkei. The poor old woman had an only son. He once grazed goats and saw a herd of fallow deer in the steppe. Among them, one stood out, motley, with golden horns. On the second and third day he saw her again. The young man said to his mother, "3 times I met a motley golden-horned doe. I want to catch her and give her to the Khan. Will he reward me for it?" The woman replied, "If you manage to catch, the Khan will probably reward you." The next day the young man caught a motley golden-horned doe and led it to the Khan. Near the palace, the chief vizier met the young man and said to him, "Give me the doe." "No," replied the young man, "I will give it only to Khan." The Khan took the golden-horned doe and asked the chief vizier, "Tell me how to reward the young man." "You don't have to give him anything now," said the chief vizier. "There is a stand for a golden-horned fallow deer in the world. It has 2 wings, one gilded, the other silver-plated. When the doe stands on it, the doe will decorate the palace. Have the young man bring the stand first, then you can reward him." So the Khan said to the young man, "Somewhere in the world there is a stand for the golden-horned doe. It has 2 wings, one gilded, the other silver-plated. Find it, and I will reward you handsomely. And if you don't find it, I'll take off your head." The young man got sad. He returned home and told his mother about the order of the Khan. Mother comforted him. "Don't worry, son. I myself will go and look for a stand for the golden-horned doe." Here comes the woman across the steppe. She sees a herd of the grazing, and not far from the herd an old woman sits and stitches together a gap in the earth. The woman sat down next to the grandma and told her where and why she was going. The grandma listened and said, "I can help your grief. One master lives not far from Mysore. He alone makes stands for deers. Give your son 1,000 thaler and let him go to that master." The mother returned home. She sold her goats, hired herself as a worker for the Bey, and earned 1,000 thaler. The young man took the money. He went to look for a master who lives not far from Mysore. He found him and explained what kind of stand was required for the golden-horned doe. The master promised, "I'll make you a stand like this for 1,000 thaler." The young man gave his money. The master made the deer stand, but her wings were ordinary. The young man went home. He saw a tall tree standing on the way, and the 2 deep wells that had been dug under the tree. In the first the water is golden, and in the second silver. The young man dipped one wing in the golden water, the other in silver, and carried it to the Khan. The Khan put the golden-horned doe on the stand. The doe sparkled so that it immediately became glad in the palace. Khan asked the chief vizier how to reward a diligent young man. "Nothing," replied the chief vizier. "He doesn't deserve an award yet. You need to give him one another order. In the one far land a golden tree grows underground. Let him find it, bring it here, and plant it in front of the palace. Then you can give him a reward." And the Khan said to the young man, "Find a golden tree that grows underground, and plant it in front of my palace. Then I will give you a reward." The young man went to look for the golden tree. He walked for several days and met an old man on his way. The old man asked, "Where are you going from?" The young man told him. The old man said, "I will teach you how to get the golden tree. Go straight until you meet a high mountain. When you approach it, you will see a hare running down the mountain. Follow his trail. He will run into the lair, and so you should follow him. There will be two holes in the den. The hare will hide to the left, but you go to the right. A huge cave will open in front of you. There you will see 40 thieves. They will want to kill you, but you will tell them, 'I can cook dinner in a blink.' The thieves will make you cook the meat while watching you. You should put the meat in the cauldron and hit the cauldron with this iron stick." The old man gave him an iron stick and continued, "In the morning the thieves will leave you alone in the cave. In a dark corner you will see a white chest. Open it. It contains a blue chest. Open it too. The blue chest contains salt wrapped in paper. Salt with it the meat that is cooked in a cauldron. When the thieves will come, feed it them. They will die immediately. Then look for a golden tree in the cave. When you find it, grab the stalk with your hands and put your feet on the roots and close your eyes. The golden tree will appear in front of the Khan's palace." The young man said goodbye to the old man and went his own way. He approached the mountain. He saw a hare running from the mountain. The young man ran after him. The hare ran into the den, and the young man followed him. In the den, as the old man said, there were two holes. The hare ran into the left, and the young man went into the right. He saw a huge cave and 40 thieves in it. The thieves wanted to kill the young man, but he told them, "I can cook dinner in a blink." The thieves told him to quickly cook the meat, and they themselves began to watch how he would cook. The young man put the meat into the cauldron and imperceptibly heated the cauldron with an iron stick. The meat was cooked instantly. The thieves were surprised and decided not to kill the young man. They left him as their kitchener. The young man lived in a cave for a long time. One day he fell asleep after dinner, and he saw in a dream an old man who gave him an iron stick. The old man shook his finger at him and said, "Tried the meat and forgot everything." The young man got scared. He woke up and remembered the order of the Khan. He began to look for a white chest in the cave. He found it in the darkest corner, opened it, and saw a blue chest inside. The young man opened the blue chest. A paper bundle lay at the bottom. He unfolded the paper and saw in it the salt. The young man closed the chest, poured salt into the cauldron, and waited for the thieves to come to dine. They came, sat down at the table, and said, "Bring the meat." The young man brought the meat. The thieves ate it, and they all died. Then the young man began to examine all the corners of the cave, and he found a golden tree in the most sacred place. The young man grabbed its stalk with his hands, put his feet on the roots, and closed his eyes. How much time has passed is unknown, but when he opened his eyes, he saw himself in the garden of the Khan's palace. The golden tree sparkled under the first rays of the sun. Khan woke up in the morning. He went to the window and saw a golden tree growing in the garden. He rejoiced, called all of the viziers, and asked how to reward him. The viziers turned green with envy. They planned to get rid of the young man, to send him to the ends of the world, so that he would not return back. So the chief vizier says, "O my lord, you lived so long, but you have no children. In one distant khanate lives the beauty Kunkei under the brightest sun. She can give you an heir." Then the young man let him bring Kunkei. If he fulfills his order, then it will be possible to reward him generously. And the Khan sent the young man to a distant khanate to find the beauty Kunkei, who lives under the sun. The young man headed the road and met a giant. The giant holds one mountain in each of his palms. He asked the young man, "Who are you? Where are you going to and from?" The young man told him everything. The giant listened to him and says, "If you are looking for the beauty Kunkei, who lives under the brightest sun, then I will go with you." And they went farther together. They go and see a guy lying on the ground. "What are you doing?" they asked. "I listen to see if the person who is looking for the beauty Kunkei is coming. I have such ears that I can hear any rustle on the ground and underground." "Then come with us. I am looking for her," said the young man. They went threesome. On the pathway they met a giant with a huge cheeks. He held 2 legs of water in his mouth. The young man asked, "What are you doing?" The giant with huge cheeks said, "I am waiting to see if the person who is looking for a beauty Kunkei is coming. When he comes, I will go with him." "I am looking for a beauty Kunkei," said the young man. They went on 4. They met an outrunner on the road. 2 cracks were tied on his legs, but he ran very fast. The young man asked him, "Where are you heading to?" The outrunner replied, "I am running to the man who is looking for a beauty kunkei living under the bright sun. Then go with us, said the young man. I am looking for a beauty kunkei. And they went on 5. They met a winged ant along the way. He could not get out of the hole with his kids. The young man helped him, and the ant said, You saved us from the death. I will never forget it. If any trouble happens to you, like my wing, I will come and help you. The ant tore off one of his wings and gave it to the young man, and the friends went on. The beauty Kunkei, who lived under the brightest sun, was the daughter of a Khan, and that Khan lived behind high impregnable mountains. He had a huge brown dog. If someone went to Kunkei wanting to steal her, the dog smelled him for 2 days of travel and ran out to meet him. No matter how strong and numerous the villains were, no one could get away from the dog alive. The brown dog sensed the approach of the young man with his comrades. It ran towards them. The giant saw a cloud of dust on the road. He lifted one mountain and threw it at an evil dog, so it remained under the mountain forever, dead. The friends went further and finally reached the Khan's palace. The Khan invited unexpected guests and began to ask them where they came from and how get near his possessions. We are looking for a beauty Kunkei who lives under the brightest sun. The Khan asked, Have you met a brown dog on the road? Yes, we saw some puppy came across, said the young man, but my friend threw the rock at him and the dog left under it. The Khan was surprised at the heroic strength of his guests. He treated them well, and on the next day he gathered his residents and arranged competitions. Who will come out the winner in the competition, announced the Khan to his nation. Then he will marry my daughter Kunkei. And the Khan put up a mighty bullfighter from his side. The young man said to his friend the giant butter, If you defeat him, Kunkei will be ours. The giant butter approached the bull, took him by his horns and defeated him in 1 minute. But the Khan did not keep his word. He announced to the people, Now the races will be arranged. Whoever comes first, I will give him my daughter Kunkei as a wife. The Khan put up an oath with Grammy, and a young man, his friend, the runner. They started the competition. The witch took 2 bottles of wine with her and gave the runner a drink. He fell asleep halfway, and the old woman ran on. Then the young man says to his friend, who called her any rusty on the ground and under the ground, Look who's running ahead. He put his ear to the ground and answers, Our friend is not hurt. Only an old woman runs. Then the young man hit the ground with the iron stick. The rumble reached the runner and woke him up. He looks. There is no old woman. The runner rushed off. caught up with his rival and threw a fistful of sand in her face. The old woman roared and clutched her eyes. She remained to sit, and the runner returned the first. Again, the Khan did not keep his word. He hid his daughter and said, "Who will find Kunkei? He will be her husband." Again, the young man's friend pricked up his ears and began to listen. He hears how the beauty stitches in the underground palace. She dropped the needle on the floor, and the knock from the fall of the needle reached the sensitive ears of Butter. "Let's help her to find the needle," he said. Friends headed to the underground palace. The Khan sees that his cause is lost and invites guests to the Iron Palace. Here he fed them well and put them to sleep. And when the guests fell asleep, he ordered a huge fire to be laid around the palace. He decided to burn the butters. Friends woke up at night. They saw the house was on fire. They become confused. They don't know what to do. But then the giant butter rose up with a lake of water behind each cheek. He quickly extinguished the fire. After that, the friends went back to sleep peacefully, while the Khan thought that his castle had burned down long ago. He looked out the window in the morning. He saw a young man with friends calmly leaving the Iron Palace. But even then, the Khan did not want to give up. He came up with a new trick. He gathered 40 beauties in his Khanate, dressed them in the same clothes, and put them all on the same bench. "Whoever recognizes my daughter Kunkei among 40 beauties will be her husband," announced the Khan. The young man passed by the beauties once, past another, and cannot find out which of them is Kunkei. He remembered about the ant's wing and burned it. The ant appeared right there. He crawled to Kunkei's feet and stopped. So the young man recognized the sunny beauty. Khan had nothing to do. He had to give his daughter to the young man. Friends took the beauty with them and set off on their way back. They walked several days, and the runner was the first to stay behind them. When they reached a large lake, the giant butter, who held a lake of water behind each cheek, remained. Then the butter, who knew how to eavesdrop on the slightest rustle on the ground and under the ground, stayed behind. When they approached a huge mountain, the giant butter, who held a large mountain in each hand, remained. So the young man and the beautiful Kunkei were left alone. The young man told the girl where he was taking her to and for whom. Kunkei listened to him and took so. Having learned about the exploits of the young man she managed to fall in love with him. A few days later, the beauty asked the young man, "How long does it take to get to the possessions of the Khan?" "2 days," replied the young man. "Then go ahead and tell the Khan to come out to meet me and take the chief vizier with him. You should meet me too, but go behind everyone." A young man went and conveyed the words of Kunkei to the Khan. The Khan took the chief vizier with him and rode out to meet the beauty. And the Kunkei was a wise girl and possessed many secrets. As soon as the Khan approached her, she turned him into a wolf, and the chief vizier into a fox. The wolf chased the fox, and the girl took the young man by the hand, and they went to the Khan's palace. The people proclaimed the young man as their Khan. After that, he married the beautiful Kunkei and had a big feast.